Hello. I'm not sure if you've gone to a ski resort before, or have gone enough time to realize this deadly trend that takes place among young adults, especially males. From my experience, the older generation has definitely noticed this trend and the flaws within it. For example, last spring when I was up in Mammoth with my grandpa, he asked me why this group of guys wasn't wearing their helmets. And honestly, I couldn't give him a straightforward or good answer. So that kind of inspired me to choose this as my speech topic. My goal with this speech is to prove that the practice of not wearing a helmet while skiing or snowboarding should not be tolerated at all, and to urge everyone who plans on heading up to the slopes to put on their helmets as well. And this goes not only for tourists who may be young or inexperienced, but also the inexperienced, maybe more athletic snowboarders and skiers, as they might have more influence over others. An example of this group is ski patrol and ski instructors. When they don't wear their helmets, those around them feel that it's okay not to, and it creates a false sense of security within tourists and those who are unaware of the true dangers. Bryce Evans interviewed 93 employees, and he discovered that the biggest complaints that they had about wearing the helmets was the physical discomfort it caused and the inability to hear. Maxime Masson did a similar study on ski instructors in Canada and found that the biggest factors that determined whether someone wears a helmet or not is sensation-seeking behaviors, experience level, and gender. So, for example, the group that would be least likely to wear a helmet would be sensation-seeking, experienced males. And many people may have their own personal reasons why they're not wearing a helmet, but they won't realize that that can cause problems not only for themselves, but others who are unaware of how common head injuries really are on the slopes. Head injuries are actually very common. And according to Declan Patton, who had multiple studies on the injuries that you can contract while skiing, he determined that 40% of those ski injuries are head injuries. And of that 40%, nearly half were skull fractures. And for those injuries, could happen to anyone, but the group that needs to be most vigilant and aware are beginner to intermediate level skiers, as they take up 90% of head injuries that occur on the mountain. As most of you know, the head is a very vulnerable spot of the human body, as it contains your brain. If you lose control of your brain, you may lose who you are as a person, your personality, or maybe even lose any control over your bodily functions. So, when the chances are that high of head injury, why not take the extra protection? Helmets can't control the speed and the force of which you fall at, but it can control the severity of the injury that you contract from falling. Again, according to Declan Patton, those who've been sent to the ICU contracted injuries without wearing a helmet, those injuries were a lot more severe than those contracted by the people wearing a helmet. And also, according to the National Ski Areas Association, wearing a helmet can completely take away any possibility of a laceration on your head, scalp area. So wearing a helmet, it only makes sense if you're interested in saving yourself from injury and pain. I know I would. Whether you've gone to a ski resort one time or whether you've gone 100 times, I hope you take the information that I've shared into consideration, and maybe one day everyone will wear a helmet and it'll become taboo not to. If that doesn't work, another possible way of making sure everyone wears the helmets is having the ski patrol enforce and identify which skiers aren't wearing helmets and reprimand those people. And at the end of the day, if everyone's wearing the helmets, then all the tourists, all the families will have a healthy, happy winter vacation. Thank you.